Hi 703, we're going to try this again. I know we didn't seem to learn very much in class today, so I'm hoping that a video will work for you. I know this is hard to read, so just follow along with me. The first question sets up a word problem for the inequalities that we've been doing in class, and it says to get a B in your literature class, you need more than 350 points. So you fill in the blank here, 350 points. The variable that we're using is P for points. So I just say, well, I had 90 points. I got 120 more. I add the points that I'm going to make this week. And together they have to be greater than 350 to get the score that I want. So all this does really is just try to break it down block by block for you. And so I have 120 plus 90 plus some P, I don't know what that is yet, has to be greater than 350. So the next block simply adds 120 and 190 and gets 210. The P remains unchanged, it's not a like term. It has to be greater than 350, so that I know if I have 210, and I'm trying to isolate the points, I want that by itself. I'm going to subtract 210 from this side, and then I'm going to also subtract 210 from this side. So this says combine like terms, subtract 210 from each side. So I'm left with P is now greater than 140. So this simply says I have to make at least 140 points on my next test in order to get the grade that I wanted. Okay, lots of confusion here on these three problems, so let's walk through each one and be sure if the question says to graph it, you have to graph it for full points. So I am solving m minus 6 is greater than negative 4. So I know that my first step is really just going to be, and I'll do my first step in purple, I'm going to add 6 to both sides, add 6 to both sides, my 6's cancel, and I'm left with m is greater than 2. I go over to my number line, and I can start a number line anywhere I please. So I'm going to say this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is obviously 3. M is every number greater than 2, but it doesn't include 2 because I don't have an equal sign. So remember, we use an open circle. M is every number greater than 2. So it goes off into infinity, and your graph looks something like this. Okay, problem number, letter B. I am solving n minus 7 is now less than or equal to negative 2. So in this case, I want to move my 7 over here, so I'm going to eliminate it from the left-hand side. The opposite of negative 7 is positive 7. I add positive 7. The 7's will cancel. I add positive 7 to this side, and I'm left with n is less than or equal. Always just bring this sign down. It never changes and it never switches, at least not when we're adding and subtracting. So n is less than or equal now to positive 5. So I go over to my graph, and this time I'm going to start my 0. I can start my 0 right here. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is 5. Now because it is less than or equal to, I need a closed circle. So I put a closed circle right over the 5, and my answer is n is every number which is 5 or any number less than 5, including all those negative numbers. Question 2a. The problem is t plus 3 is greater than or equal to 8. Again, I need to get the t by itself. So the opposite of positive 3 is negative 3. I'm going to add a negative 3, but I have to add a negative 3 to the other side. Cancels. T is now greater than or equal to 8 minus 3. It's 5. So that's interesting. In this case, it was positive 5. Here, it's now greater than or equal to 5. So I'm going to start, again, you can start this anywhere you like. And I'm going to put 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. T is greater than 5, or it's equal to. So once again, a closed circle. But now my arrow goes every number going into the positive direction. B, the very last one. Your team has a goal to collect at least. So anytime you see in a problem the word at least, you know you're going to get an inequality. So at least, so they can collect, they have to collect at least 161. They cannot collect 160. So at least is going to say it has to be greater than 160. So I'm going to add up what we have. So my answer has got to be 160. We know that on the left side of the equation, it has to add up to be greater than, but not equal to 160. So we brought 42, and then we brought 65, and then we have some, let's call it B for blankets. All these added up have to be bigger than 160. So if I add 42 and 65, I get 107. 107 plus the ones that I need has to be greater than 160. So I'm going to subtract 107 from this side, subtract 107 from that side, and I'm left with B has to be greater than 53 blankets, meaning 53 blankets. So they have to bring in more than 53 blankets in order to meet their goal. So if I were graphing it, and it doesn't ask you to, but let's just make sure we can. So let's say that this is 51, 52, this is 53. So it has to be greater than 53, so I have an open circle. It means it can't include the number 53. They have to bring in at least 53 blankets in order to meet their goal. Terrific work. If you didn't get the grade that you wanted on this, just please finish it today and I will change your grades. See you in the morning.